Hello, fellow yappers, and welcome to the Late Night Yap with your host, Lexiee, where we read all those wild Reddit stories so you don't have to. Make sure that you give me a like and subscribe down below if you'd like to see more videos like these. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our episode. Am I the asshole for cutting off friends who had a threesome with my ex right after our breakup? I ended a friendship with two of my best friends because I found out they had a threesome with my ex like 3 weeks after we broke up. I dated my ex for 2 years, and even though it was a mutual decision to break up, it hurt a lot, obviously. These friends were so supportive of me, always saying he was trash and that I deserved better. I found out through some Instagram stories. I confronted them and they said it just happened, and they didn't think it would hurt me since we were broken up. I told them that we are done. They think I'm being dramatic since he is single, technically, but like 3 weeks after breaking up and with my friends who were literally supporting me, people are saying I'm overreacting, but I feel like this is such a betrayal. OP, I wouldn't want to be friends with those people either. Relevant comments say, not the asshole. What is with people these days? Another comment says, cut all these people out of your life. Anyone who thinks you're overreacting has lost their minds or has such low morals that they aren't worth being friends with. It's crazy. They were together for 2 years. And her besties had a threesome with this man after 3 weeks of them being broken up. That was planned. They've been wanting to do that for a while because there ain't no way that just randomly happened. My wife was arrested for shoplifting. My wife was shopping at a local giant. She uses the Scan It app to scan things so she can just scan the app at self-checkout at the end and pay. After paying today, she was grabbed for an audit. They apparently found what they told her was a large discrepancy. She was prepared to pay the difference as she thought they'd made a mistake, but they told her that she had to wait for a manager. Then the police showed up and arrested my wife and separated her from my 7-year-old daughter. The arresting officer called me telling me I had to come get my daughter and that my wife would be arrested for an alleged $800 in retail theft. I can't even imagine what would be that much. When I went to the store to get my daughter, they allowed me to take the groceries that were paid for but would not give me any information or any receipts. The arresting officer will also not let me see the receipt for the paid food as it is for his evidence. My wife has honestly never done anything like this in her life, and I truthfully believe this is a mistake because I have always sent her extra money when we needed for extra groceries. I feel like some sort of critical information is missing or there is something wrong with the way the app scanned the food. I also feel like my wife offering to pay the difference should prove she didn't have any intent to steal. She was with my daughter and can be easily distracted by her in the store. When my wife got home, she looked over the groceries and she said it looked like they'd taken chicken, beef, and energy drinks. And I cannot fathom how it would be $800. As the officer said, I have no solid number because no one will give me a receipt. My daughter also adamantly agrees that mommy scanned everything with the app. They wouldn't give my wife any chance to explain herself or explain anything to me, but I don't really think my wife did anything wrong. Have mistakes like this ever happened? We're gonna speak to a lawyer on Tuesday, but I can't stop thinking that something doesn't add up here. Edit. Thank you all. I understand why people are so quick to assume she did it, and I'm prepared that I may learn something about my wife I didn't know. But my confusion relies on my trust of her, how extremely out of character it would be for her to do something like this. We will be meeting with our lawyers and we'll see what comes in discovery. Thank you all again, especially for wanting to dive into our finances. So it seems like the chat here is accusing OP's wife of stealing for real. I wonder if there's any update. Is there an update? Is there an update? We don't have an update. Okay. What do you think, guys? Is she lying or is she telling the truth? Did she steal or was she wrongfully accused? I guess we won't know because there's no update. Only our conspiracy theories. Entitled neighbor demands I stop cooking because the smell of food offends her dog. So I live in a small apartment complex. I like to cook spicy food. Nothing crazy, just a garlic, chili, and cumin kind of stuff. Last week, I'm making shakshuka. Honestly, I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and it's poached egg or something like that in like tomato, like a spicy tomato sauce, for those who don't know what a shakshuka is. And I don't even know if I'm saying it right, so if I'm not saying it right, let me know. And I hear a knock. It's my neighbor from 2 doors down. She looks pissed. She says, "Can you not?" And I'm like, "Not what?" And she says, "Cook that. Whatever it is, it's offensive." I laugh nervously. It's eggs and tomatoes. She says, "My dog has a sensitive nose and he was shaking from the smell." I say, "Maybe don't keep your windows open." She says, "Maybe you should stop being so selfish." I blink. She is dead serious. Then she says, "I'm gonna talk to the landlord if this happens again. I am a white woman in America and I'm gonna write a letter." I just smiled and said, "Tell him I'll save him a plate," and closed the door. Okay, gangsta. Guess what? Cooked the same dish the next day and added extra garlic. Haven't heard from her since. The garlic probably took her out. All right, relevant comments say, I mean, if you live in an apartment, you're gonna have to deal with other people's sounds and smells more often than you'd like. Yep, that's the truth. And unless it's really excessive, you need to just suck it up and deal with it. I have never heard of a smell making a dog shake. Mind you, there are dogs out there who literally smell bodies for a living. She's being difficult. Have you heard from your landlord? OP replied to that comment and said, "I totally agree. Apartment living means compromises," which is true. If you can't live around people, then don't live in an apartment, which is why I'm moving, because I cannot stand being around people. These people are annoying the hell out of me, but I'm sure I annoy them too, so you know, what can you do about it? I'm definitely open to being respectful, but from what I can tell, this isn't something excessive. I haven't heard from the landlord, so for now, I'm assuming it's not a formal issue. I'll keep an ear out though. Honestly, the landlord probably heard what she said and was like, "Why are you calling my phone?" My neighbor keeps trying to break into my apartment. So here's a fun little mystery from my building. Every single day, morning and evening at 5 a.m. and again at 10 p.m. like clockwork, my neighbor tries to open my apartment door with the handle like it's his. No key, just a firm jiggle jiggle of the handle before he realizes it's not open and casually walks away. For context, I'm a 22-year-old woman living alone. He's probably in his 50s or 60s, not super chatty, talks to himself a lot though, like full conversations alone. Also, and I swear I'm not making this up, when he leaves his own apartment, he closes the door and then rings his own doorbell every time. No one ever answers, and I have so many questions. He sounds like he might have OCD. At first, I thought, honest mistake, but the thing is, he's been living here longer than I have, so shouldn't he know which door is his? But we are now weeks into this daily routine. Sir, I promise you, this has never been your apartment, and it wasn't yesterday, it won't be tomorrow, and yet he persists. Like, maybe one day the stars will align and suddenly the door will open and he'll walk into a parallel universe or something. I've decided to slip a polite note into the mailbox, something friendly but clear, just to say, "Hey, please stop trying to open my door. Thanks." Maybe that'll be the end of it, or maybe he'll start knocking for good measure. Who knows? I'm considering leaving a note on the door, a sign, something like, "Still not your door, champ," or just embrace the chaos and start waving through the peephole every time he tries. Has this happened to anyone else? Am I starring in someone's confused sitcom without knowing? Honestly, 22 years old living alone, just get a Ring camera. What if you accidentally leave your door unlocked? This is a crazy horror story, man. You accidentally left your door unlocked and the old man got in and he's just standing in the hallway staring at you. My neighbor's dog ruined my sleep, so I used it to ruin his. Every night from midnight to 3 a.m., his dog would bark nonstop right outside my bedroom. Deep, loud, echoing barks like he was announcing the end of the world. I asked my neighbor twice to bring the dog in. Both times he brushed it off with a smirk and said, "He's just doing his job." Cool, then I'll do mine. I started recording the barking on my phone. The next morning at 6 a.m., right after my neighbor got home from his night shift, I played it back full volume through a speaker pointed at his wall. I repeated that for 2 mornings. No yelling, no threats, just his own dog giving him a taste of what I've been dealing with. On day 3, the dog was inside before 10 p.m. Hasn't barked a night since. Sometimes the best revenge is pressing play. My girlfriend wants to start an OF. I've never posted here, so please bear with me. Basically, my girlfriend told me she was going to start an OF account. It wasn't up for debate. She wasn't asking me. She told me she was doing it, and if it's something I can't handle, then I need to break up with her. I was more so confused and hurt at first because she never said it's something she was interested in when she brought it up. And when she brought it up as a hypothetical a long time ago, I told her I was sort of against it in a relationship. She got kind of mad at me for not being supportive about it, and when I was asked all these questions trying to figure out exactly what she was going to be doing on her account, she said she would only show the top, and then I shared I was worried her content would escalate from there. After I pressed her on why she even wants to do it, she said she wasn't passionate about it, she just wants to have lucrative money and have the crazy lifestyle, being able to go on vacation and party all the time. I was kind of taken aback because I didn't know her to care so much about having money. I said something along the lines of selling out, and that set her off, and she basically told me it wasn't a big deal and that it would be such easy money and it's stupid not to do. She says it wouldn't be like she was cheating, but do you have to not essentially text guys spicy to make your money on there? I don't know. My head's a mess right now, and I don't want to break up with her over it. I just didn't sign up for that when we first got together. I don't want to be embarrassed to tell my parents about what my girlfriend does for work, and she deserves someone who's proud of what she does. I just don't know how I can be proud, especially when she's just doing it for money. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her dance with my husband on my wedding day was too sensual? I, 27 female, got married recently. On the wedding day, my sister, 33 female, asked to dance with my husband, 29 male. She tried to grind on him. He backed away, but my sister grabbed his hands and forced them on her waist. My sister grinded on my husband. After the grinding, she turned around and grabbed his butt, forcing his pelvis onto hers. Oh my god, is this some this sounds like some crazy freaking sitcom, movie or something. All I can imagine is the dance from Pulp Fiction. She got her face so close to his face. After dancing with my husband, she mostly danced by herself. She tried to dance with other men, but they avoided her. Yeah, I don't blame them. She's crazy. She was so aggressive that her hair got messy and she was sweating like crazy. At one point, she actually fell down. After my honeymoon, one of the first things my mother-in-law, 52 female, asked me was if my sister needed medical intervention for her mental health. My mother-in-law asked if my sister was bipolar or a drug addict. When I talked to my sister, she denied being under the influence. So she did all that sober? When I told her that her dance with my husband was too sexual, she started crying. She said she'll never get married because she's too old and too fat. Bro, she's she's 33. What are you talking about, dude? Her words, not mine. I told her not to talk about herself like that. She said the fact that no other men danced with her was a sign that she's ugly. I felt so bad for her. Am I the asshole? No, your sister needs help. She needs to go see a therapist. The other men didn't want to dance with her because she's crazy. Am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend a cliche for wanting to open up a relationship so he can pursue a 21-year-old? Last week, my female 30 boyfriend, male 34, asked to open a relationship because while we have Segi time 1 to 2 times per week, week, he'd prefer to be having it more. This has been an ongoing issue, so I gave it some genuine thought and agreed to a trial. What is this, a freaking Netflix account? A few days later, I told him I would be hurt if this was about someone else. A few days after that, he told me it was actually about a 21-year-old he'd met on a trip that we'd taken together for Valentine's Day. I had to go back to work a week after, so he stayed an extra week and met the 21-year-old female. Nothing happened at that time. I don't believe that. Well, I was pretty grossed out and made it clear I think he's being an embarrassing cliche. I may have also used the words pathetic, sad, and also old. He says I'm in the wrong for reacting so strongly and that he's not old enough for it to be cliche. Also, he says they have similar interests like traveling and music, and it's about her personality. So Reddit, am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend a cliche for wanting to open our relationship so he can pursue a 21-year-old? Not the asshole, so this is your ex-boyfriend, right? Honestly.